Well, I had posed the question last time, or a couple videos back, asking you to try to correctly guess the song I was grooving to in the intro, and a couple of you did get it right. It was the Miami Vice theme. And now I would like to pose the question again. Do you know what song that was I was grooving to? Well, let me know. And if you get the answer right, and you mention it in the comments, I will send to you, and I'll take care of the postage and handling, a very special item, namely this little piggy. A little plastic piggy, and I have surveyed the market for plastic piggies about 1 inch long, and this one is a very high quality piece of merchandise. And if you also got the Miami Vice theme right, which means you're 2 for 2, well, I'm going to throw in this little item to complete the ensemble, which is a piggy nose. And you can have all sorts of goofy fun with your friends at parties. And this thing is a very high quality item. I mean, it doesn't break. I mean, I think you can basically take a hammer to it. So I'm giving you a lifetime guarantee on those 2 pieces of piggy merchandise. So get the answer right, and you can be the proud owner of piggy paraphernalia. My name is Aaron Knapp. Welcome to Tennis Talk Daily. Greetings from Boston. We've got so much sunshine beaming in the windows here. What's happening? Well, I had to put this visor on. It's absolutely necessary because I need the maximum coverage, you know, because there's so much sunshine beaming up from Miami. And I want to make sure to reflect a little of it back on to you, both through this visor and through my tennis talk. So subscribe to the channel, get the essential commentary, get some sunshine, baby. Give the video a thumbs up, and again, subscribe. Thanks for your viewership. I want to turn back today to our favorite tennis player, Roger Federer, our favorite tennis player. There have been a few pieces of news that we should probably note. The run of Naomi Osaka has been stopped by Svitolina today. And so I don't think it says too much about Osaka's future in the near term, which appears to be bright. In fact, I expected her to lose. It's just been too much. Another really highly ranked player, Svitolina, it's been too much for such a young person to deal with. I'm sure she just kind of broke. But, you know, she's going to be back. Djokovic later is playing Benoit Paire, and that should be an interesting match. But you know what? I can't depend on Djokovic anymore. And when I start talking about Djokovic, the egg starts flying onto my face. So I can't depend on that dude anymore. I can't trust him. He's not trustworthy. So I'm not going to say anything about Djokovic. What I want to talk about today are the 5 reasons why our favorite player, Roger Federer, is going to win the Miami Open, is going to take the crown at Miami, is going to defend his title, and quite possibly to redeem himself against Del Potro. So let's talk about the 5 reasons why Federer will win in Miami. Some of the reasons are motivational. Some of the reasons are sort of circumstantial. But as a prefatory matter, I would like to say that Roger has shaved his face. Things were getting a little hairy, a little uncut, a little rough, a little hairy for Roger Federer at Indian Wells. And I think a lot of us were hoping that he could clean himself up a little bit, and he seems to have done so. I think it's important. A lot of you might be asking, but Aaron, that's a double standard. You're not cleaning up that stuff on your face. And I guess, I mean, the answer to that is I'm kind of appealing to a different standard. I'm kind of going for that kind of international sexy look. And Roger is trying to win a tennis match. Now, of course, after the match, Roger kind of gets the Rolex on and he starts going for that international sexy look as well. But in general, I thought he was getting too hairy. It was too hairy at Indian Wells, and so I'm glad he has cleaned it up again. So, the 5 reasons why Roger will win. Number 1, because he lost. He has to lose in order to win. He has to lose in order to win. He's a little hungrier for this now. He's a little hungrier to win now than he was before his loss to Del Potro. That's the truth. He's going to have a little more hunger, a little more desire, and that's what makes the difference in the end. My argument was that in that final tiebreak with Del Potro, I think Del Potro just wanted it a little more, was a little bit more hungry for it. But I think after the loss, Roger's going to have the edge in terms of that hunger to win. The second reason why Roger will win in Miami, well, he's going to take care of a problem that he was having at Indian Wells. At Indian Wells, he seemed to be having some dietary issues possibly, but it seemed to be that he was a little bloated, and I think it was something he ate. You know how it goes. You eat something a little too spicy or whatever. It's kind of rich, maybe cheesecake. It starts up here, gives you a little burn, and then it goes down. And then it's like, it kind of, God, I'm feeling something. And it feels, and then it'll get down into, it becomes like a gastrointestinal problem. And then you really get bloated, you got things moving around, and it's weird. You can't really help yourself. And he was having a hard time. He could sort of maybe get away with it at Indian Wells because there's that dry air, so things don't really hang in the air too much. But in Miami, you got that really humid air, and so things are going to hang in the air, if you know what I mean. And, you know, the whole stadium might know that Roger is having gastrointestinal issues, if you know what I mean. So Roger is going to take care of that problem, and that's part of why he will win in Miami. The third reason why Federer will win in Miami is because the courts will be a bit faster, and that will suit his game a little more. We've talked about the speed of the courts. We've talked about the slower courts at Indian Wells. We can make a few distinctions. Our previous propositions were that the slower courts probably don't explain why Roger was out of sorts to the extent he was at Indian Wells. They may explain why the older men's players are doing well. They also, paradoxically, may explain why the younger women's players are doing well and are breaking through. But the increasing speed of the courts, the greater speed of the courts, the faster bounces and the lower bounces at Miami will definitely help Roger. Even if the slower courts don't explain what was happening to him, the faster courts will help him. That will enable him to bring to bear his full game. He will keep his opponents running, and his opponents will not be able so easily to retrieve the shots as they were at Indian Wells, and so this will help Roger. The fourth reason why Roger will win in Miami is because he wants revenge against Del Potro. He really does. I have kind of a theory about these tennis players, and my theory is, which is based on some evidence to be sure, that they don't generally get along very well. They're not friends. They're not, drinking buddies. There's a little of that goes on, but listen, in the main, they are pretty arm's length people, and there are tensions between a few of them, and Roger and Delpo have some tensions. There's no question about that, but Roger does want revenge. He wants to redeem himself against Delpo in particular, and this tournament is set up again for kind of a Federer versus Del Potro final, so that could happen. That opportunity will probably arise if things go as predicted. The final point and the final reason why Federer will win in Miami is because of the great expectations. I noted a couple episodes back that the great expectations, the crowd support for Federer can be a burden. And in exceptional circumstances, he can kind of break down or shrug or get angry or frustrated. And that, I think, happened at Indian Wells. But ordinarily, Federer can use the expectations, can use the support, can totally exploit the massive support and the pressure. He can exploit the pressure, and that's when the diamond comes out. Remember, I was talking about Federer, the diamond, the Federer that comes out only under the high pressure circumstances, just like diamonds are created under high pressure circumstances applied to carbon materials. So too Federer turns into kind of a diamond when the pressure really mounts. Well, again, ordinarily the pressure is a good thing for Federer. Under exceptional circumstances, when he's not feeling well, when he's having those gastrointestinal problems, well, then maybe the pressure is too much or he just doesn't want it and he gets frustrated with it. But now he'll have a new sense of purpose. Now he'll be back into his form and he'll be able to channel the crowd expectations, channel the support, channel the great expectations, and to make everyone proud in the end. So that's my sort of prediction, but 5 reasons, maybe 4 reasons, 5 reasons why Roger Federer will win in Miami. His match coming up tomorrow is against Kokkinakis, Thanase Kokkinakis, and who goes by the nickname Coke. And that should be interesting. I don't think it deserves a lot of commentary. What we're looking for from Federer is a nimble attitude, a nimble approach on the court. We're looking for straight set victories. We're looking for a clean-shaven face. We're looking for that game that does kind of struggle to come out in full form on the slower courts. So we're just looking for Federer to come out and be Federer again, the Federer that we saw in the second set against Chung, the Federer that we saw in the match against Krajinovic at Indian Wells. So that's what's going to happen. Give some comments about this. What are some other reasons Roger's going to win? Because he is going to win. I will always put my money on Roger Federer. I'm never afraid of getting egg on my face with respect to Federer. I can always pretty much depend on Federer. So drop some comments. Let's talk about this. I'll have a lot more commentary coming up tomorrow after the match. Be well. I will talk to you soon. Bye.